So Dina is one of my amazing neighbors and agreed to jump on this so that we could get a real life neighbor to give her perspective. Um, and I'm very appreciative. Thank you, Dina. So I've never asked you this, but what came first to mind when you found out that you were next door to a vacation rental? Because Dina actually has a vacation rental on both sides of her property and behind her property. So she has three.
Awesome. So, so I moved in about 6 weeks before COVID lockdown. And I didn't find out, and because like from random people, because you came to my door and introduced yourself. So that was really great. I really appreciated that, to get to know you right away. You came in, you told me a little history about the previous people that had lived in my house that we had no idea about. It was fun to know, get some insight on some, just some funky things about the property that you helped us uncover. So yeah, and I wasn't upset, or I didn't worry about it. I mean, I got your phone number, I knew I would call. You actually informed me about some things I didn't know about the music ordinance or anything like that, because I remember saying to you, like, oh, I don't mind music, it's totally fine. And you were like, no, you don't understand, it's the law. And I was like, oh, okay, all right, now I've got it. So I know that I've only called one time about music, and it turns out I called you and I called Julie behind because it was coming from one or the other, we thought, and it turned out to be neither. It turned out to be construction that was behind you, Francine. Two guys with a transistor radio that I don't know how they got it that loud, but it wasn't really bothering me, but I just didn't want either of my neighbors to get in trouble or fined for the music. But it turned out it wasn't any of their guests. So yeah, I wasn't concerned. I appreciated meeting you, but I don't know, I didn't freak out. It was fine. And then we went through COVID, there was nobody here. It was super quiet. And once COVID started, things started opening up, and I would hear people on either side or even behind. It was kind of a very happy feeling, because it had been so silent, and now suddenly we heard families having barbecues or laughing, or nothing crazy, but just humans. And so that made I live here with my mom and my daughter, so we were like, oh my gosh, yeah, life, so that was a positive.
Awesome. I was going to ask you how your experience has been living next door to a vacation rental, but I feel like you kind of covered it.
Yeah, it hasn't been, I mean, there's never been an issue. I've been here 4 years now. No, it's never been an issue. And I think that, you introduced me to Julie, and then eventually I met Gina on the other side. That was her grandmother's home. And there was a little bit of a transition period where, she doesn't live here. She has a young son lives somewhere else, but she finally came over. And so now I know everyone, and we're all women that own our own businesses and homes. And I love that we all have each other's numbers, that we call each other. Hey, can you look on your camera and see if you saw this? And I know, Francine, you and I have done that multiple times. If maybe my camera caught something or yours did, that might, however it extends. And I really feel safer knowing that I have all of these friends, because we are friends, looking out for me. And yeah, it's been very positive.
Yeah, I feel the same way, exactly the same way. Being able to reach out to you. I just might add that when Hillary came through Palm Springs, I wasn't able to get out to Palm Springs. And Dina and her mom were unbelievable. They went into my backyard, they got all my outdoor furniture, put it inside the house. I mean, come on now. Like,
I'm from Florida, so I know about hurricanes. So I knew, like, we got to get all these projectiles out of here.
So I got to say, I only wish everyone had the neighbors I had, because I have just the most amazing neighbors. And I just want to reiterate, this is not about me having a vacation rental property. This is just, I want to have relationships with the people that are on the perimeter of my home, no matter what. But to be able to have a successful vacation rental and not disturb your neighbors is my number one priority. So thank you, Dina. I appreciate that. Would you have any recommendations to other residents who have a vacation rental next door?
I think it's just like everyone's already said, but it's critical to introduce yourself and give your phone number so that we can call you before we call the police. Because if there is an issue, when there's no one else to call, you're going to call the police. I mean, luckily that's never happened with us, but if there was something to happen and I didn't know who you were, you know, that's the only option. So I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, developing a relationship with your neighbors is kind of rare in this day and age, but you know, when we were all younger, we all did it. And I've always known my neighbors, and I appreciate knowing my neighbors because I don't know, it just makes everything nicer. So, you know, if you can get to know people, I think that's always a plus. But yeah, it's all been great. I've had zero complaints on any, and like I said, I have 3, you know, next on both sides and behind. So it's all good.
You're the perfect example. Because free.
Well, I live here, I work from home, so I'm here a lot. So it is also nice that, you know, like if something's going on, you can call me and say like, hey, you know, I saw on the camera there's like a fire truck or, you know, whatever it is, like, hey, what's going on? And I can just fill you in.
And we also check in with each other. Like we'll say, hey, is your internet out? Or
yeah.
has your power come back on yet?
9 this year, 9 of them.
So
yeah.
all things like that. It's been a great experience to be able to go back and forward with each other and check in. My neighbors on my other side, they're an elderly couple. One of them is on hospice at home and he's on oxygen, you know, and when the power goes out, I called him immediately to say, you know, are you guys okay? Do you need me to help? And you know, having that kind of relationship is
I remember even saying like, hey, you're not here, but I'm here. And if mine comes on, because I remember mine came on and yours hadn't come on yet. So I remember saying like, hey, if they don't have oxygen or power yet, they can come to my house. You know, I have an extra bedroom. So yeah, all of us doing a little bit of teamwork creates a better city and society.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Dean. I really, really appreciate you coming on.
Good luck, everyone.